What's up?
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma in beautiful Railroad Square, Santa Rosa, California.
Not everything lasts. I've broken my heart so many times I stopped keeping track. Talk myself in, I talk myself out. I get all worked up, then I let myself down. I tried so very hard not to lose it. I came up with a million excuses. I thought of every possibility. Someday that'll all turn out. You'll make me work so we can work to work it out. And I promise you, kid, that I'll give so much more than I get. I just haven't met you yet.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to TV Tuesday Live here at Cellars of Sonoma, where today we finally got a little bit of the sun. And I'm going to just ask for a little help from my team. I'm getting a little feedback behind my head. They need to turn off that broadcast that's behind me. So welcome, everybody. And tonight, because, well, not because the sun came out today, but because we're really heading towards spring, even though many of you that are watching from other parts of the country, you're without a doubt still in the heavy winter. But here in California, we realize that at some point that's going to end. And in fact, next week it's March, so you know the summer's coming, spring is upon us, and when it starts getting a little warmer, we have to think about Chardonnay. And so tonight we're going to talk about Chardonnay, and I brought in somebody that's quite good in the area of Chardonnay. He makes a fabulous product here that we showcase at Cellars of Sonoma. And his name is John Bambury, and he is the winemaker and owner of Bonneau Wine. So, John, welcome to TV Tuesday. How you doing?
Well, it's nice to be here again, Scott.
Yeah, good to hear you. So if I can get somebody to turn off the this feed here at this computer, because it's bouncing in my ear, and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So anyway, so tonight, John, we're going to talk about your Chardonnays, and because you have two really different styles of Chardonnay. So to help the guests out, Chardonnay production is really the way that you produce it is what determines whether you're going to get a crisp Chardonnay or a creamy, buttery Chardonnay, right? I mean, that's the way you produce it is really, the grapes are the same, but you can have two different styles on both ends of the spectrum.
That's right. There are a lot of factors in what makes the characteristics of flavors and textures of a Chardonnay. Mm-hmm. We have two, and one is the stainless steel version, mm-hmm. where we don't run it through malolactic secondary fermentation.
Okay.
That has the characteristic of kind of keeping the buttery side of the wine down.
Okay.
And since it's done in stainless steel, there's no influence from the oak during the fermentation and aging process.
Got it. Okay.
Then the other version, where we ferment and age in French oak, and we use the secondary malolactic fermentation, mm-hmm. makes for a bigger, more robust Chardonnay, and brings out a lot more characteristics to the wine.
Now, both of those are that you start at the beginning the same way. You're putting the grapes into the steel tank, and you're starting that first fermentation. And then really where they vary is you're transferring that out in your in the non-egret, your Los Caneros. You're then putting that into French oak or oak barrels.
Right. Well, we'll bring the grapes in from the field. We put them through a whole cluster press.
Okay.
It's a bladder press that gently presses the grapes in a cycle format, okay. that produces the juice. Now, we start out with the same juice for both wines.
Uh-huh.
That does go into a stainless steel tank and settled out. Once it's settled, we now have the option of where we're going to ferment that wine.
Okay.
Some of it is going to stainless steel, and it's fermented in stainless steel tanks. The other wine is immediately put into oak barrels and fermented in oak barrels with the lees and pretty much the way it comes after from the juice that is extracted after the crush.
Oh, very good. Well, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to taste a current vintage and the next upcoming vintage of the egret, which is done in stainless steel, and then the Los Caneros.
Right.
Okay. So let's start out with the very first two wines. We've got the 2008, which is what we're currently pouring in the tasting room. Now, the process that you've done to produce this wine is the same from 08 to 09. Did you do anything different in that regard as far as the production end?
You know, it's very similar. The first step is doing the stainless steel fermentation. However, when we get ready to bottle the wine, just before bottling, we do blend in a little bit of oak fermented Chardonnay. In the 08, there's 25%
okay.
of oak fermented wines blended. In the 09, 20%.
Okay. So that's
and
pretty
we call it lightly oak.
Yes.
That way.
Yes.
Oak does bring on a little more complexity to the wine, but you're going to have a hard time actually detecting the oak because the stainless steel dominates in this wine.
And right away, you know, you get more citrus right out of the gate. You're not getting that creaminess in the nose like you're going to get in your barrel fermented Chardonnay. So those of you looking for a crisper Chardonnay, something more like fresh cut apples or some of your citrus notes, this is really going to do it. And when we get the real hot days, which we're going to get them, they're coming. This is what you want to have. Also, too, would you say would it lean a little bit more towards spicy foods as well? I mean,
I think this wine goes best with lightly spiced foods. Something like oysters, raw oysters.
There you go.
Or a salad at lunch.
Okay.
Something light. Now, the other Chardonnay, we'll talk about that, but that would be for spicier food.
Okay. Very good. So very similar in the nose. Clean finish. Very pleasant.
Kind of got apples and citrus and a little hint of spice.
Well, you know, one of the first questions that I have, we've been doing a segment now that we call Wine Facts, and we ask a question, and then we take a break. But you don't take a break from the live audience. You guys will be watching live. We take a break from our recorded segment. But before we take the break, I'm going to ask a question, and it actually fits in quite well with what we're looking at here. And so let me give you the first question in our Wine Facts tonight, and I think it's very appropriate. The question is, if you want a white wine with citrus flavors that is not buttery, which would be the most likely choice? Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, or Sangiovese? Now, we're not going to shoot a guess off until after the other side of the break, but most likely, if you're looking for something that's not buttery, is it Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, or Sangiovese? Of course, there's two on there we probably can exclude, but it'll be interesting on the back side of this.